Now, before we get to the end of this video, we're going to look at a drill rather that we can use before teaching our kids the motion offense. We can kind of run this drill a little bit in practice to, basically teach them a step one. Before we go to step two, which is teaching the motion offense, we can teach this little drill to kind of get them to understand the movements of a motion offense a little bit more. Now, this drill is named the Spurs drill. And basically, what we're going to be looking at in this drill is just teaching the kids how to pass and cut and how to swing the basketball. There's not really going to be much scoring in this play. It's kind of repetitive. It's not the most entertaining play, or rather drill, or the most engaging drill. Right? This is not something that's going to keep your kids really engaged in practice, but rather something that serves as an introduction to a 5-out motion offense. So I have two players of our five moved out of bounds for this one because we only need 3 players on the floor. And basically what we're going to do is just teach that pass and cut, right? Teach that V cut to get open, right? So number 2 and number 4, they're going to get open off of a cut. There's going to be no defense here. And we're just going to pass that ball to them and teach our players how to cut and look for the basketball. We're not going to give them the basketball back, but what we are going to teach them is to fill the other side of the floor, and then everybody else fill a spot, right? That's what we're teaching here. Okay, then we're going to teach them to swing the basketball to the other side of the floor, and the same thing goes. We're all going to fill a spot, right? Now we're going to swing the basketball to the other side of the floor. The same thing goes. We're going to cut. We're going to fill a spot, right? So that's all we're basically doing in this drill. We're teaching the kids how to pass and cut, how to fill a new spot, right? The same rules kind of apply where we can blow the whistle at some point, and when we do that, right, let's get these players moved up a little bit. When we blow the whistle, we can then give it to the cutter. Sorry, moving the basketball here. We can then give it to the cutter for a layup. But other than that, what we're using this drill for is basically to teach the spots, teach the movement, teach the cutting, right, that we will eventually discuss in our 5-out offense. So again, this drill, you don't need to use it, but it's a good introduction to a 5-out offense before we get to that continuous movement offense that we discussed before. Now, basically, with this particular drill, what we're going to teach the athletes is basically how to handle a double team, right? Once we get our paint touch, how to handle a double team, which will eventually result in them understanding the concepts of the motion offense. We're also going to teach the athletes that, when you pass the ball, there's a good chance in a motion offense that you will eventually get the ball back and you will be the one that receives the shot. We look at this drill right now, it's going to go back to the initial person with the basketball after the ball already moved around the floor. And lastly, we're going to teach the athletes how to swing the basketball, which is obviously a super important concept with the motion offense. You want the athletes to be able to swing the ball from side to side. So 3 kind of key concepts to a motion offense that we're looking at here. Now, as you can see, we have 4 lines right here, a line right here, a line right here, a line right here, and a line right here. So instead of 3, like we did in our last drill, we're now incorporating a 4th person, which is 1 step closer to our 5-out. So basically, what we're going to do with this play, we're going to have athletes line up into 4 separate lines. It doesn't necessarily need to be 4 people in each line, especially if you have limited numbers. You could have 2 people in each line. You could have sometimes even 1 person in each line. It doesn't really matter too much how many people are in each line. You just want 4 separate spots on the floor, similar to how we have them right here. The balls are always going to start in this line right here, the line where we start the drill. So for us right now, this is our white line. So the first thing that we're going to do in this drill, we want the person with the basketball to get a paint touch. So we're going to have number 1 drive to the basket and get inside the paint. Now, what we're going to mimic right now is if there were to be a double team, maybe inside the paint, how do we then get our motion offense going? How do we get our read and react continuous offense going? So number 1 is going to be driving to the paint and getting that paint touch. And like I said, we want to mimic a double team right here. So what we're going to have number 1 do when they get that paint touch is they're going to kick the ball out to the green line over here. Okay, so when number 1 kicks the ball out to the green line, they're then going to fill a spot right here.
So what we're mimicking right now is, okay, now what does number one do? They need to go fill another spot. So number one in the blue line is going to come up here and fill another spot. Now what we're going to have happen is number one, swing the basketball to the purple line, right? Number one in the green line, they're going to swing the basketball to the purple line. They're going to swing the basketball right here to this new number one, and they're going to swing the basketball back to number one in this line. And this number one is going to drive it to the basket, and they are going to get a wide open layup. So, again, what we're teaching here is when you pass the ball to get a motion offense started, there's a good chance that you will get the ball back, right? This white number one started right here. Now, they finished the drill with getting the wide open layup. We're also teaching the concept of swinging the ball, right? As we see, the ball went from side to side all the way back right here, and we had the wide open layup. So now we'll have the ball reset. So this blue person will go back to the blue line. They'll move to the back of the line. Number one will go back to their line. They'll move to the back of the line. Purple will go to the back of the line, and green will go to the back of the line. Now we have our number twos ready to go. And they're going to do the same thing. Number two here is driving to the paint, right? They are going to mimic a double team. And what we're going to have is two kick the ball over to green. They're going to fill over here. And as that happens, blue is going to move up. And we get that ball swing all the way back over. Number two is going to drive it to the paint and get a wide open layup. Now, if you want to start incorporating more into this, if you have an advanced team and they're starting to understand these concepts a little bit, you can even add now another, pass right here and maybe have number two shoot, a wide open jump shot in the green line, once we get another paint touch right here. So again, this is a pretty continuous drill. It's not a drill that's going to see a lot of crazy action, but what we want to basically reinforce here to the athletes is the concept of getting in the paint and swinging the basketball from side to side, swinging the ball, continuously, which is what we want in a continuous motion offense, right? Again, we want to teach them the concepts rather than a robotic play. Now, if we do these concepts over and over and over again, they're eventually going to understand them. Again, this is something that I would teach in a warm-up in the beginning of practice for a few weeks before I go into my 5-out motion offense. And then even when I have my 5-out motion offense, I would use this drill a little bit more at the beginning of practice to just reinforce those tactics that we're going over and how to play basketball the right way in a continuous setting.
All right, folks, I need to quickly stop right there before we move into our next topic to mention that right now, 97.1% of our daily viewers are not subscribed to our channel. So that means if you are one of these people, if you are one of these 97.1% who are not currently subscribed but are watching this video, it would be greatly appreciated if you could take the time real quick to hit that subscribe button. It will help us continue to make content like this, continue to make basketball plays for other coaches, basketball drills for other players, and basketball, everything that both players and coaches and organizations alike can use. So again, if you could really quickly take the time to hit that subscribe button, it'll just take 2 seconds. It would be greatly appreciated.